everyone, Karen from Makeup and Beauty Blog, and that's my daughter Connor saying hi. She's in the room here with me. It has been, I don't know, kind of a while since I've sat in front of the camera to put on my makeup, so I decided to do it today. This is a Chanel winter makeup look. I had to put on my makeup because I'm going to go run errands, and it seems a little silly to wear Chanel while running errands, but hey, you know, gotta get your glam in where you can. So, you know, this video is going to be super cash. I'm just going to chat, and we're going to talk our way through it, and that's that. So let's go ahead and jump right in.
Well, hello there. So, babe, you know, I'm going to get through this as best I can, but I have a feeling that there are going to be some things that I'm going to miss along the way. So if you have any questions, like what just happened there, go ahead and ask me in the comments. I'll also be linking everything that I use in the description box down below. So if you have any questions about any of the products, you can ask me there too. So we're starting off with some Nars Pro Prime. It is the best, and I'm priming my eyes because that's what I always like to do. I'm a creature of habit like that. So I don't know if you've tried this product, but if you haven't, you really have to try it. It's like one of those change your life things that I honestly haven't found any primer better than that. Jumping right into the brows using Benefit Brow Conditioner. And all I'm doing here is I'm going to run it back and forth through my brows just so my brows have some stuff in there for the brow pencil that I'm using later to cling to. And I like to use the back and forth motion here because then I feel like each and every hair gets all sorts of goodiness, good attention with the brow conditioner. Now, so right here, it may look like that I'm having impure thoughts about Nick Jonas and I need to fan myself off. That's not happening. I'm just helping the primer move along. I just find that with primer, it really helps to get it dry before you go in with any eyeshadow, because when it's wet, eyeshadow tends to stick and it looks a little patchy. Save yourself the trouble, save yourself the drama, and get it dry first. This is, by the way, the palette from the Chanel Winter Collection. It's a gorgeous mix of blues and grays, and I'm starting off with the dark blue, which looks like, I'm not kidding, dark jeans. Like when you first get like dark blue jeans and the denim's like nice and fresh, that's what it looks like. It has a little bit of a sheen to it. It's very, very beautiful and very complex. And what I'm doing here is I'm just patting it on my lids. I like to start nice and low, really close to the lash line. That way I can kind of control how far up I go and how far out I go. I find that with eyeshadow, especially like darker shadows like this blue, if I go buck wild willy-nilly and just start patting it all over the place, I end up with shadow in places I don't want it to be. Like it'll be too high up and close to my eyebrows or too far out. If I go nice and slow and I can progressively just sort of check by looking into the mirror with my eyes open how far up I'm going at this very beginning point, it just makes my job a lot easier. I mean, you could just go high, as far and high up as you want and as far out as you want, but I really do think that it helps in the beginning to just control that shadow as much as you can. Swapped out that brush for a clean blending brush, and I'm just doing a quick sweep back and forth to smooth out the edges. And here's a tip for blending that just completely rocked my world when I learned it. It's just when you're blending, use really light pressure. If you're like pushing too hard with that brush, you can actually push the eyeshadow into the skin, so it makes your job harder. It just like everything starts to stick and then the blending looks patchy. Use the lightest touch to move the grains across your lid. Cleaning off that powder flat eyeshadow brush that I used before, and I loaded it with the silver shadow, and I'm packing that directly on top of the blue. I love doing this, like putting different colors on top of each other, especially like a shimmery shadow on top of a more like satiny or a matte shadow. There's Connor in the background playing with her toys. I find that like mixing finishes like that, it just gives you a bit more interesting look and adds some interest to your eye look. Grabbing that blending brush again, and I'm doing the same thing, blending the edges to make them nice and seamless to get that gradient that I want. using little circles and a back and forth motion. Again, the lightest touch. So now I'm going to clean that same brush off, save myself a little bit of time, and I'm going to dip it into my, oh, I know I'm going to mess this up, Guerlain bronzer. Yes, I took years of high school French. Forgot it all, apparently. And taking a tea break. Hey, why not? Sometimes you get thirsty while you're blending. And then I'm grabbing my favorite Chanel liner, Stylo Yeux, and I am tight lining my upper waterline and my lash line. I love this liner to bits. If you want the info on that, ask me in the comments. It is so good. I could talk about it forever. Okay. Now I'm grabbing my favorite Nars angle brush and I'm just drawing that line out to start building out my wing. You know, with wing liner, I wish I was that kind of person who could just like grab a pen and just kind of do it all in one fell swoop. I'm not quite there. I like to do it in parts just because it allows me to get more control over that wing. Like I do the liner with I draw it out with my pencil liner first, and then I take a gel liner. Here I'm using the Chanel gel liner from the winter collection, and I'm just layering that gel liner on top because it's kind of like tracing, you know. I have that initial line down. Now I can trace over with my gel liner to deepen the line and make it more dark and interesting and slightly more dramatic. I'm not going to make it too dramatic because, you know, I'm gonna go to Marshall's. I gotta get some serving platters. I gotta go to the grocery store to go and get some fruit and some milk because I don't even know how this happened, but like we don't have any food in our fridge. It's like, bam, I looked in there this morning and there was no food. So that wing is not going to be super dramatic. It's just going to be ever so slightly dramatic. And now I'm mellowing out the edges with the gray shadow from the palette, which I wet with my favorite makeup forever, Mist and Fix Spray. Onto brows once more. This is the MAC Brow Sculpt Pencil in Brune. This is my favorite thing at the moment for a super mellow natural brow. It is just like the awesome Tom Ford brow pencil, but it's like half the price. It's my jam at the moment. Moving on to the skin. I'm evening everything out with the Amazeballs Hourglass Vanish Seamless Foundation. I don't even know what I drew on top of my forehead. It looks like, what is that? A ruin, some kind of like, I don't know what's going on. But now I'm evening everything out with a wet beauty blender and now using an hourglass brush to kind of mellow everything out even more. I don't know, with foundation, I feel like I just like to get away with as little as possible, and blending it down with that second brush takes off a little bit extra more so that it doesn't look cakey. That's my jam as of the moment. So concealing now with the Nars Soft Matte Concealers. You guys, I have another video on these concealers coming up. These are really, really, really good. They're incredibly high coverage and they don't settle into fine lines, and they're so easy to blend. My goodness. It is probably better than a Nutella donut, which I would really like right now because I'm starving, because there's no food in the fridge because I have to go to the store. All right, setting my under eyes actually with NARS Translucent Crystal and using a rolling motion. I like to get as much of that powder off the brush before I roll it on to my under eye area, just because I don't like a ton of product underneath there. It looks heavy, especially in natural light. Bronzer now. Was that bronzer? Oh my gosh. Karen. Oh no, that was powder. That was MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. Now we're on to bronzer. That same Guerlain bronzer that I used earlier in my crease. I'm just gonna take that to the upper cheekbones and across the bridge of my nose to add some color, add some life back into these tired features. Yeah, I like to add that extra warmth. It makes me feel happy just to wear bronzer. Call me crazy. Oh, hey, crazy. So I'm taking that same bronzer and I'm just adding a little bit underneath my lower lash line. I'm back into the crease just to mellow everything out. Mascara now. Lower lash line mascara with the It Cosmetics Tight Line Mascara, which is Amazeballs. And then my favorite, NARS Audacious Mascara, which is great for separation and for curling. You don't have to eye roll there. You can eye roll if you want to. That's why I did it. So now I'm taking that same gray eyeshadow from the Chanel palette and I'm adding it to the outer third and I'm mellowing it out with a Q-tip. Lips. I like to do lips first because then I know how much blush to apply afterward. This is Super Nude from Chanel Winter 2016. Oh, this blush. Okay, also from Chanel. It's super bright, so I put a little bit on a skunk brush, took most of it off on a tissue, and then I applied it to my cheeks to avoid clown cheeks. It's easy to do with a blush that is this intense and this bright, and then I'm buffing it out again with an additional powder brush just so everything looks super mellow. And yay, here's the final look, and yay, because my bangs are actually in control, in a state of non-disarray. And yeah, this is the final look. Off to run my errands now. You guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.